Pat and Kevin on 99.5 FM, 1240 AM, OneSocketRadio.com. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kevin Callahan, along with my co-host Pat Holland. Pat's on the 10-day disabled or injured list now, as they call, but it's retroactivated back to last Sunday. Meaning, Pat, you will be in studio next week. Back in you only have 4 days left on it. So, good morning. How you feeling this morning, Pat?
We're getting there.
Oh, good. What does that mean? We're getting there. Progress. I hope you're making progress.
Making a little bit of progress. So,
oh, good.
Hopefully, I'll be. This week will be a much better week for me, and
yeah.
We'll be back to 100%.
Yeah, no, I know. You and I worked a game up in Massachusetts earlier this week. I was like, "Oh, you're hobbled," and then okay, and then I know you had a bit of a drive to the Northern Territory. I'm sure that didn't help your leg too much either, right?
Yeah, no, I had 2 days up from Vermont, so 5 hours in the car each way. Not the best case scenario for me.
No. Well, glad you're able to join us online. We got, as you know, a real busy show, a lot happening, and I don't even know if we have time, but I do want to get to it, Pat. It's not even in our notes this morning. I heard about it on the way in. The NCAA came down with a big settlement last night that takes effect July 1st on colleges being able to pay their athletes. So hopefully we got some time today, maybe during a commercial, you can look up some information on it as well. If we have time, we'll be able to get to that. But why don't we jump right in and get you caught up with what's happening around Rhode Island and New England. Game one of the Division I high school baseball state finals featuring Cumberland versus Hendricken began Thursday night at Rhode Island College. Hendricken prevailed 4-3. Game two, weather permitting, is this afternoon at Rhode Island College beginning approximately 4 o'clock. Should Cumberland win and force a game three like they did against South Kingstown last week, game three would take place Monday evening at Rhode Island College beginning at 4:30 at Art Pontarelli Field. Hendricken is looking to become back-to-back champs, and Cumberland's looking to win the championship for the second time in 3 years when they beat LaSalle back in 2023.
Yeah, and in Division II, Game 2 today at 4 o'clock at Rick, where East Greenwich will look to finish off North Providence. If necessary, Game 3 will be played Tuesday at 4:30.
And over in Division III baseball, our own Woonsocket Villanova begins their chase for the state championship at noon today, also at Rhode Island College. So just in a few short hours for the Novans, they'll take on the Pawtucket Co-op team. Game 2 will be scheduled for noon o'clock, yeah, okay, 12 o'clock tomorrow. And if necessary, Game 3 will be played Tuesday night at 4:30. So good luck to the Villanovans.
And over in Division I boys lacrosse, LaSalle will take on Moses Brown this morning at 11 at Brown University. The D2 championship will feature East Greenwich taking on Portsmouth beginning today at 2. And then in Division III, Thursday night, Lincoln High School suffered a heartbreaking 8-7 loss to Narragansett in the Final Four game. Narragansett will now play Mount Hope for the championship today at 4:30 at Brown University. Tonight at 6:30, Division IV Scituate will battle Rogers.
And over women's lacrosse, they'll do battle tomorrow. Division I, Moses Brown takes on LaSalle at noon. Division II features Westerly versus the Lincoln School out of Providence after the Lincoln School defeated Cumberland 11-8 Tuesday afternoon. That game begins at 2:30. In Division III, East Providence will take on Smithfield at 4 o'clock. And in Division IV, Coventry will take on Scituate, who beat Lincoln High School Thursday 10-5 at 6 o'clock.
And then tomorrow, the D1 and D3 softball championships take place at Rhode Island College. Division I will feature LaSalle versus Charahoe beginning at 1. If a second game is needed, it will be played right after Game 1. D3 features Tiverton versus Cranston East at 4 o'clock. Game 2, if necessary, will begin right after Game 1 ends. D2 happens today at St. Ray's as they take on West Warwick beginning at 6. Game 2, if necessary, will be played right after Game 1.
Yeah, and just for clarification on people that want to know if there's going to be another game if necessary. Basically, you have a winner's bracket team with 0 losses playing a team that's coming out of the loser's bracket, so they actually have a loss. So the team that's coming out of the winner's bracket All they have to do is win one game, and they've won the championship. The team coming out of the losers bracket has to win 2 in a row to win the championship. So they don't know if that second game is necessary. So to wrap up the championships that are being played tomorrow at Rhode Island College, Division I boys volleyball features North Kingstown versus Cranston East at noon. Division III has Mount Hope versus Portsmouth tonight at 7. And Division II, Lincoln High School, after defeating Westerly on Tuesday 3-1, will look for a championship today at 2 o'clock as they take on the Pawtucket Co-op team. Finally, we wish all the boys and girls competing in about 3.5 hours at Brown University in outdoor track and field the best of luck. All the championships there begin at 12:30. So a busy day, busy weekend coming up to wrap up high school sports here in Rhode Island.
Turning to professional soccer, Rhode Island FC returned home tonight, playing their first ever night game at Centralville Bank Stadium. They are taking on Miami FC beginning at 7. Rhode Island currently sits in 6th place with 12 points, while Miami is in 10th place with 10 points. So Rhode Island FC still looking for their first win in their new home. We'll look to get some separation from Miami tonight.
Were you planning on before your sideline? Were you planning on going to that game at all tonight, Pat?
I was, because I think they switched the start time. It was going to be an afternoon game, and then they switched it tonight. So I was going to try to get over there, but not so much.
Yeah,
I will watch.
I didn't know they switched the times on that. So I'm sure in general they're going to like the 7 o'clock start on a Saturday. It's probably better for the area too. People might get there a little bit earlier, hit the different places around the city as well, and. Yeah, the game will still end at 9. At this time of year, there's still even a little bit of light out there with the sun setting at about 8:30.
They just changed the next 4 games. They moved to 7 o'clock start.
Interesting. I wonder if they think they can draw more fans that way with a 7 o'clock start. Where 4:30 start time, right in the middle of the day, people have to start thinking about it at 2:30 if they're going to go, and maybe right in the middle of the day, or maybe it's too hot. Well. That could be a reason.
It could be.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so good luck to RIFC tonight at 7 o'clock. So if you got tickets and the tickets say 4:30 or 4 o'clock or anything other than 7, don't pay attention to it. The game's at 7. So with a 6-3 win last night, the Worcester Red Sox currently are on a modest 5-game winning streak. They'll finish their series versus Rochester today at 4:05, and then tomorrow at 1:05. Roman Anthony did not play last night. He's in a little bit of a mini slump, so I don't know if they just gave him the day off because I haven't heard of any call-ups. He is 2 for his last 16. Currently, that drops his average down to 291, but still sitting with a 422 on base percentage. So he's still working the walks, but I didn't hear that he got called up. Did you? That?
No, I haven't heard anything yet.
Okay,
nope.
So I think that would have made some headline somewhere. So this morning when I was looking, so because I did purposely look, and he did not play last night. So.
Yep. And the 6, 4, and 5 New England Revolution are off this week. It's the international break. The Revs return to action next Saturday night at Gillette when they host Cincinnati FC at 7:30.
Pat, I was reading my local paper today. We're about a year away from the World Cup coming back to the United States, and then I think Foxborough has the most games that you can play in the World Cup. I think the championship's in New York, but Foxborough I think is hosting 7 games. But the article was when USA hosted the World Cup back in '94. That kind of like springboarded MLS soccer. You had Alexi Lalas is still a studio host. Right now, he's nervous. Like, there's a lot of apathy surrounding the U.S. men's team. They haven't played well in about, 3 years. You got any thoughts going on this? Because they got some big tournaments coming up, and they haven't played well in their past tournaments over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they brought in a new coach. They're learning a new system. That's going to take a little bit of time. I think they're trying to get some guys healthy. So they use these smaller tournaments as, trying to work those things out, maybe give some younger talent, some exposure at the big boy, the big boys.
Yeah.
But I think it's hard to really look at it at this point until you get a little bit closer in the team's been solidified and they start to take on the new coaches schemes and what he's typically all about, which was a completely different brand of soccer than what they've been playing. So you gotta take that in consideration too. But yeah, I mean, obviously this is big time. This is what they were building for. So you don't want to get this window and then all of a sudden it's gone and you missed it and you're nowhere closer to being at that level than you were 8 years ago.
No, you're right, and soccer obviously growing in the country. And I know we weren't necessarily prepared to talk soccer, but coming out of the '94 World Cup again with MLS, springboarding, they've developed. I think what are they up to 30 teams now? You got the USL that in basically where RIFC plays. Want to challenge MLS. So you got a growing professional leagues here in the United States, and and again, my stance on soccer. I'm not against it. I'm that rare middle guy. I don't hate it and I don't love it. I actually just kind of like it, and I've never seen like as much apathy surrounding the U.S. men's team since '94. This is to me at its lowest level. I mean, 1 year away from the World Cup, and there's like barely any buzz going on. I'm sure the tickets are going to be sold out. It's a worldwide thing, but are you sensing any apathy in your, you're a member of the soccer community? Are you sense any apathy towards this team?
I don't at this point, but I guess again, once you get to the bigger tournaments and they don't start to produce, then you're certainly going to hear about it. The soccer world, especially in the U.S., is like anything else. We're not, we don't hold back our thoughts and feelings. We want to be the best at everything, and I think as you get to the, like you said, the more important tournaments that are coming up, you'll start to hear it if they're not starting to produce.
Well, and I think the fear will be, and again, we're a year away. The fear is, and I'm not sure, is it 64 teams now in the World Cup versus I think it used to be 32 or something like that. But I think the fear is. Look, I remember I was working at a Greek restaurant in '94, and the Greeks went to Foxborough to go watch Greece, and they went 0-3 and gave up 10 goals and didn't score any. I think that's right now a fear of the USA team is basically they just bow out at 0-3 while they're hosting on their home soil, and it's going to take another 30 or 40 years to get the World Cup back. So I think that's a fear right now of the team. So I hope. To what your point is, they turn things around quick and at least are able to generate some interest you going forward, because nothing worse than seeing the team just bow out without advancing to the next round of the World Cup.
Yeah, no, it's certainly a crucial time in U.S. soccer, that's for sure, and I think they've tried to make some of the changes that they have to put them in a better place, and they've paid a ton. Both on the women's side and the men's side in terms of coaching.
Right.
So they're paying top dollar, and if they don't succeed, then there'll be some questions being asked.
Absolutely. All right, so get off the rails a little bit. We have one more local note, and I was very excited by this move. I think this would be great. Providence College men's basketball team made some big news this week. They brought back Ryan Gomes to be an assistant coach under Kim English. Ryan Gomes, one of those guys. When I started bringing my kids to PC basketball games, he was the guy on the floor. He had 8-10 year career in the NBA. He was looked over. He's from Connecticut. Jim Calhoun overlooked him, which was great. Then he produced the way he did at Providence College. I don't know how much you followed this or even knew about this, Pat, but any thoughts on it? I love this move of bringing Ryan Gomes back. I think it's going to be great for PC.
Yeah, it's certainly, in terms of the name, right? Everyone's going to know him. He was a fan favorite up here. He played in Boston, so, it's certainly, I don't know what it adds to, their playing ability, right?
Right.
In terms of like what the team's going to look like, but it brings another layer of PC basketball back into the mix, and maybe he has a little bit of he'll help in the recruiting process and selling PC a little bit. I think it's a good move.
Yes.
I don't know how it directly translates to like what PC basketball is going to look like, but I think it was a good move for them.
I do think it's a bigger picture move in the sense that PC hasn't had a problem selling tickets in a while, and I don't think they have that problem next week either. Next year either. However, to your point with the recruiting, I think he brings his NBA background, he brings his Providence background, he brings in essence street cred to the program. And let's face it, you go to Providence, you're a player, you want to take the next step to the NBA, and I think he brings a little bit of that as well. So I think overall a good move. It could largely be looked at as a PR move. However, the assistant coaches in college sports is huge in the recruiting point, and I think he may end up being a great recruiter and a real good coach in the future as well. So, all right. So, go ahead, Pat. I'm sorry.
Obviously he has some coaching experience at the NBA level, right? He was the assistant coach in the D League.
Yep.
The G League, I think it was Development League at that point, and then he was with the Portland Trail Blazers. So, certainly a good move for them to bring him back into the mix, and obviously we want to see them get back to where they were.
Absolutely. So, all right. So we're going to take our first break. When we come back, I'd like to jump into the world of hockey. Bruins have a new coach. Dallas Stars fired their coach yesterday. And I don't know if you did, Pat, but did you stay up to 12:25 this morning by any chance?
I probably made it to 12. But then I did obviously wake up. I checked.
Yep.
Actually, I think they were doing an interview with Marchand when I woke up. So.
Okay. So, 12:25 this morning. I was struggling knowing what time the alarm clock was going off this morning, but I really wanted to see the end. So we come back, and we want to hear from you as well at 401-766-1240. We're going to touch on some hockey. We're also going to touch on some Red Sox news as well as their season continues to, I don't know what their season is doing as well. But when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit of hockey. We want to hear from you. 766-1240 in the 401 area code. We will be back right after this on 1240 a.m. and WoodSoccerRadio.com.
The latest Buick and GMC models are available at Tasker Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Buick Encore, Envision, Enclave, and Envista are on the lot waiting for you to take one for a test drive. New GMC crossovers, SUVs, as well as trucks and vans are also available. Thinking of a pre-owned vehicle? Tasker Buick GMC has more than 900 in stock, many under $15,000. Visit online, TaskerBuickGMC.com, or stop into 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Tasker Buick GMC, you will be satisfied. And remember, there are no tariffs on the vehicles in stock at Tasker Buick GMC.
When you're ill and need same-day care, remember North Smithfield Urgent Care and Lincoln Urgent Care for affordable and accessible care. You'll always be seen by a board-certified physician who will assess the problem and make you feel safe and reassured. Check their websites for convenient patient and medical forms, which you may fill out before the visit. North Smithfield Urgent Care, 594 Great Road, North Smithfield, 768-3400. And Lincoln Urgent Care, 2 Wake Robin Road, Lincoln, 333-9595.
Automobile construction and design continues to change, so it's important that auto body shops remain current and certified in aluminum repair and able to reproduce the entire color spectrum. Michaud's Auto Body is a certified Class A auto shop staying current with the new technology. The use of aluminum in construction has made vehicles lighter, and many of the new metallic paints require the tri-coat process. 3 layers to get the perfect match. Michaud's Auto Body, a second-generation family business. 430 Privilege Street, Woonsocket, 769-1983.
Don't look now, but spring is right around the corner. Get out those golf clubs and head over to Lewis Quistit Golf Club, located right in the city of North Providence. Lewis Quistit offers a stunning 9-hole course designed by U.S. Open champion Ken Venturi. Whether you're looking for a fun, challenging round of golf or just a relaxing day surrounded by rolling hills, oak trees, natural wetlands, this is the perfect spot. With tee times available 7 days a week, fantastic court conditions, and a welcoming atmosphere both for members and the public, Lewis Quistit is a place to be. And after your round, don't miss out on great food and drinks at the Pub on One, complete with a scenic golf course view. Contact Lewis Quisset Golf Club at www.lewisquissetgc.com or by calling 401-353-1620.
ON Radio, ON Worldwide, in Woonsocket.
All right, and welcome back to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan, along with my co-host Pat Holland. Pat sidelined a little bit on the 10-day IL, retroactive to Sunday. So Pat will be back next Saturday. Still with us, Pat?
I am.
All right, I'm hitting all the buttons. I'm 20 minutes into the show, and I'm hitting the buttons right. So I'm taking over your job. So. So far,
right,
so good.
that's right.
What's that?
I said that's right. You have the added the mouse.
I got the added responsibility of the mouse.
All right, there you go.
And though I did get our show on a couple minutes, about a minute or two late, but we are up and streaming. So hopefully people didn't tune out when we weren't on right away, but on Facebook or YouTube as well. So all right, so Pat, Marco Sturm. Many people remember him as scoring the game winner in the 2010 Winter Classic at Fenway. He becomes the Bruins' 30th all-time head coach. He's been a 3-year AHL coach in the Kings system. I believe it's up in Ontario. One little negative there, he's only won one playoff series. So okay, it is the AHL. It's you don't know how the Kings do their system. The Bruins are reading. They want to return to a more defensive style system. Sturm was a 4-year assistant in LA, and then he got a promotion to the AHL team, and he continued to preach that system. So the Bruins, by all accounts, they interviewed everybody but you and I, Pat, for the search, and then we had heard Sturm's name a long time ago. I actually thought they were going away from him because usually they just hire ex-Bruins right away. When they didn't, I just assumed that they were going away from him, so I was wrong again. Your initial thoughts on the Marco Sturm hiring?
Well, Ontario is in California, so it's the Ontario reign in California.
Yep.
That
was in California?
It is, yeah. I mean, yeah.
I just assumed Ontario, Canada.
I think a lot of people think that. That would be quite a distance for them to have their minor league hockey team.
It would, but and I try to relate to the average fan, Pat. So, and I knew the average fan thought Ontario, Canada. So,
there you go. I honestly, I don't know if maybe Dallas was holding out on firing DeBoer until the Bruins hired Sturm, because it seems odd, because I think he would have been certainly a candidate. He's a great coach. Yeah,
was it a day after the Bruins announced Sturm, the Stars fired DeBoer, and the Stars were eliminated about 2 weeks ago. They knew they were going to fire him.
I think they were waiting for that last team to fill, which we were. So. I think they had narrowed it down to a few guys, and ultimately, I think about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I had heard Sturm was a front runner. There was the Dallas assistant coach who was also in play, who coached he's the assistant coach of the Team Canada during the Four Nations. But I think they're able to get Sturm on the cheap. I think they're able to, they know that the expectations have to be held in check a little bit as whatever they want to call this, a bridge, a rebrand, a reset, a regrow, or whatever we're doing.
A pressure situation for Don Sweeney, because he's only got a 2-year contract. Was it you that mentioned typically GMs get like 5-year contracts and he only got a 2-year contract?
Yeah, he took a 2-year extension, which probably coincides with Sturm's contract.
Probably.
I don't know what he signed for, but I don't think it was more than 3 years.
I'll look that up. But yeah, it's so it doesn't sound like you love the signing, if I'm hearing you right.
Yeah, I mean I think they could have stayed stayed with who they had. I don't think it's like an upgrade. I don't really, I don't know. I heard that he was a great coach. He had the ability to develop some of LA's younger players that have now come up into their system. But you don't know until they get here, and then they're, it's like, well, where are we going? They're looking to play a more defensive brand. So he was like a two A guy, right?
Right. So, hey Pat, we got a call. Let's go to the phone lines, okay? All right.
Sure.
All right. Hello, you're in the cheap seats with Pat and Kevin. Who am I talking to?
Good morning, Pat.
Morning, guys.
Hey, Moose. How's it going?
Morning, Kevin. Okay, Pat, you're on the shelf.
I am. I'm on the shelf.
Back
Most
next
of where
week.
started pitches should be.
Well, there may be a job opening pretty soon, I hope.
Yeah.
Where in Boston, maybe?
Oh, you're exactly right. I need not go any further.
Well, and Moose, when I first started, or when Pat and I first started the show, about a year ago or so, I think you were on an island unto yourself on the Alex Cora thing. From the things I've been reading and hearing, and now and talk about, I don't think you're on an island by yourself anymore. I think you got a few more people that are starting to join you.
I was on that island 3 years ago, Kevin.
I only met you about a year ago.
Stranded on that island for 3 years. All alone.
Well, I think you're starting to get some company on that island now.
This is hope is not. Well, enough of that island.
To your point, Moose, and Pat, feel free to jump in. Obviously, last night's Yankee game, you got Walker Buehler pitching. He gives up a 3-run dinger. We're going to visit some friends last night, and then when we get out of the car, we walk around the backyard, sit around the fireplace, look at the TV, and now it's 5-0, and nobody's up in the bullpen. And then the bases are loaded, and he hits a batter.
Oh yeah.
And I think that brought in the 6th run, and I think it was at that moment that he got a pitcher up. Now the bullpen should have been refreshed. They had Thursday off.
Yeah. We'll call the strikes again. Nothing surprises me, Kevin, with this guy anymore.
Well, it's just, I think the problem, Moose, is like trying to wrap our heads around why, like. When you give up 5 runs in the first 2 innings, I get it. Nobody wants to take the starting pitcher out at that point. But
it's something, I'm not going to question that so much, but you certainly have a valid point there. Let's get back to Buehler for something. Not only pitched, he wasn't effective, obviously.
Right.
He pitched a stupid game too. He actually did. Little things he didn't do. Of course, that error by Meyer that.
Yeah, I thought that should have been scooped, though, to be honest with you.
Oh,
But first base is going to bail him out.
But here's the thing with Meyer on that ground ball. He had plenty of time. You got to set yourself square up and fire.
I agree. I agree with that.
Plenty of time to throw. So not only that led to a couple of runs.
No, it did, because Buehler, I think, ended up giving up 7 runs, 5 earned.
Now Buehler, back to Buehler. He had walked. The judge had just gotten the second hit, I believe. He was on first.
Yeah.
And I'm watching Buehler, and he's not even looking at Judge at first.
Yeah.
Not even taking a good look back. No look back at all. Not to see where Judge is. And the Judge walks to second base, for crying out loud. You got to check on your runners. That's a fundamental part of the game.
Right. No, it seems like Buehler's been a little disengaged when they needed him to eat up innings a couple of games ago. He got himself tossed. I also put partial blame on the umpire on that. But
I think he's got a slight personal problem he gets on his mind. He loses track of the game.
Yeah.
And it goes into his head, and he starts losing control.
Pat, did you see any of the Sox game last night by any chance?
Yeah, I watched the first inning.
Oh, so you know
what?
That was enough. Nothing like just starting off the game by walking the leadoff batter.
It comes back to haunt you at every
Here
level.
we go. frankly, I didn't see the last 3 innings. I think I was like a lot of people. I shut the game off after 7-0. I said, the game's over.
Well, there was a lot on last night too, and when the Sox, and now it was good to see that they battled back. They made it a game. I think what was the final 9-6 last night.
9-6.
Yeah.
I mean, nice little thing, but too little, too late.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I should start singing. And now the end is near.
Well, no, still got almost 100, just under 100 games left. So I can't say the end is near until after the All-Star break. But I am concerned.
As we exchange emails, let's see what happens at the end of the month. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
see where we are.
Go ahead, Pat.
The only day you feel comfortable is when Crochet's on the mound. Like literally.
Right.
Every other starting pitcher, it's like I don't
You're
know.
absolutely right.
How's the first? Are they going to get through the fourth?
Yeah,
how many games are you going to give up? Seven runs in the first 2 innings, and then you're playing from behind the whole game, and you lose by a run.
Right.
Yeah.
Like this story.
Did you see that lineup I sent in for you last night?
That's not bad. You wonder if Christian Campbell maybe looked at to be sent down. Young kid,
right.
220 average right now, 311.
Enough. I can't talk about Red Sox anymore. It's frustrating unless they start showing me stuff. and frankly enough, I wish I had more a positive attitude towards them, but I can't until they show me. So, Marco Sturm?
Yeah, what do you think?
I really hasn't sunk in yet. Haven't thought much about it.
Right.
But let's concentrate on one thing at a time.
So,
But anyway, with that, I'll let you go. And who's starting first tonight? Crochet?
I hope Crochet. Pitches every game.
Every game, that's right.
Starting today.
What'd you say, Pat? Crochet is going?
Yep.
Oh, good.
Crochet against Yarborough.
Okay, because I know the Sox are 10.5 games behind New York, and oh boy.
And we're only in the first week of June.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, Moose.
Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend.
And, try not to get the Sox get to you.
All right, it
like
sounds
it does
good.
to me.
Have a good one,
have a good
Moose.
one, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Mighty Moose joining us here in the cheap seats with Pat Kevin. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue on some hockey talk. We'll get into more the Red Sox as well as a lot of other things happening in sports this week and even last night. So when we come back in the cheap seats on 1240 AM, 99.5 FM, and WoonSocketRadio.com, we'll be back right after this.
State Line Service and Tire Center is a third-generation family business that believes in repairing your vehicle properly and efficiently the first time. In addition, they provide a full complement of preventive services like checking batteries, belts and hoses, exhaust, headlight restoration, emission testing, and engine light pop-ups. Their ASE certified technicians are right up to date with the latest technology. Vehicle problems are their business. State Line Service and Tire Center, 1209 Social Street, Woonsocket, 765-0146.
Woonsocket Door Sales carries an excellent variety of doors to complement your residence or business, including the LiftMaster security doors that provide you with extra protection against theft. These doors feature a special security ID code to further safeguard your home, business, or valuables in your garage. Remember, an attractive door complements the appearance of your home or business. Woonsocket Door Sales for installation, parts, and repairs. Woonsocket Door Sales, 1 Biltmore Avenue, Cumberland. Call them 767-3448. Are you looking to beautify your property this spring? Look to A.J. Moran for stonework patios, steps, walkways, plus retaining walls. Are you looking to beautify your home this spring? A.J. Moran can put veneer stone right on your house to have beautiful looking stone. And if that's not what you want, A.J. Moran can rebuild indoor fireplaces with veneer stone. It's real natural stone. Check out what they can do online, ajmoraninc.com. A.J. Moran.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at ServiceMaster by Gilmore. From water and fire restoration to mold remediation and emergency cleanup, we've been restoring peace of mind for over 40 years, now proudly serving all areas, including our newest service location in Rhode Island. No job is too big or too small. Day or night, we're here for you. Call Service Master by Gilmore at 1-800-783-0552 or visit us at the web at www.svmgilmore.com. Restoration done right every time.
We're local and live at 99.5.
And welcome back to the Sheep Seats with Pat and Kevin. Kevin Callahan joined, as always, by my co-host Pat Holland on the IL, and joining us on the phone. Still with us, Pat?
I am. I'm here.
All right. So, Pat, just going back to the Marco Sturm thing for a bit. During the commercial, I was trying to look up the contract because it had dawned on me while we were talking. I hadn't heard any details, and just a real quick AI overview. Specific details of Marco Sturm's coaching contract length are unavailable. Did you find anything on his contract?
I haven't. No.
So they signed him to a contract 4 or 5 days ago. Is this like the weirdest coaching signing, in history? If Vrabel signs, people still talk about it. Sturm, I mean, they've been looking for a coach for 2 months now, and now it's like the quietest signing in Boston professional sports history here.
Yeah, and I guess it's par for the course with the Bruins, right?
The secret society. Yeah, the only team not to go on radio. All the other, even the Revolution, are on radio, like with like a weekly show or a weekly segment up in Boston, and the Bruins aren't.
No questions.
So
don't ask any questions.
Don't ask any questions. Those questions will be answered in time, but it doesn't really help. So, so right before Moose called, and if you have any thoughts on the Bruins or Sox or anything else, feel free to give us a call. 401-766-1240. You were saying about Sturm plays a defensive style, and the Bruins are going to head back to that style.
Yeah, I mean that's all the reports I've read is that they're going to look to play a more defensive brand of hockey, two-way, which I guess. But, I mean that's how we've played for years, supposedly.
Right.
So, listen, all you can do is say, let's see what happens. I don't know much about his coaching ability outside of he supposedly had a little bit of success in terms of development.
Yep.
Developing players to go to the next level, not necessarily, that team being a AHL, champion or anything like that. So we'll see.
And take it for what it's worth too. He did coach the team Germany to the 2018 silver medal in the Olympics, I believe. So it's a short tournament. It's not an 82-game season. But, some credibility there. Germany not known for their NHL caliber players, though Marco Sturm was one. There aren't that many Germans in the NHL. So that's a heck of an accomplishment for Sturm to get him to the silver medal.
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously any recognition you can get on the international level, especially with a team like Germany, right? It's not like one of the top 4 teams or, they're typically always in the conversation of like the top 10. They'll never slip below, but
right.
They don't have as much talent as the rest of the world. So that certainly goes. It's something to be said about that from a coaching standpoint. But it's a different beast once you get into the big leagues, right?
Absolutely.
And now you have to get people motivated to play and buy into a system and. It'd be interesting to see who else he brings in with him.
Yeah, they haven't announced any assistant coaches yet either, have they? Or did I miss it?
They have not.
Okay.
So it'd be interesting to see if he's bringing in his own people or if he's going to be forced to, use the Jay Leaches and keep those guys. That'll be telling to me if he has the ability to bring in all of his own people or. Where they're going. So.
And the only, the 3 coaches that jump out at me to be on the staff. One's already gone, Joe Sacco. He went and joined Mike Sullivan with the Rangers, so he was gone, which I'm okay with that. I didn't want Sacco back anyway after the season he had coaching, and he probably didn't want to be here either. Though he did interview for the job. I would be surprised. I don't know how you feel about this. Is on Jay Leach, because my understanding is Jay Leach interviewed for the job. obviously didn't get it. I'd be curious to see if he hangs on in an assistant role.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. That's one of the questions I had. Would
Yeah.
be, where does Jay Leach fall in? Does he exit altogether? He hasn't yet, but
Right.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. And then, obviously everyone's gonna be looking at this draft. Obviously they have a lot of draft capital right now.
And no
I think
players.
and they've established Marchand. They get a future first-round pick
Yes.
in next year, back from Florida now that they've made it, and he's played in 50% of their games, and they made it to the Cup. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
And the only other coach that I could think of off the top of my head on the Bruins staff is like the Dante Scarnecchia of the group, goalie Bob Esesna, who has seen. I think he was there back in the Claude Julien days. So he seems to be surviving all the coaching changes. And what's interesting is now Swayman didn't have obviously a great year this past year. Now they bring in Sturm. They're starting to preach the defensive style. In the IIHF World Championships, Swayman just had 7 wins and helped USA win gold for the first time since 1933 in that. And I think he even threw a shutout in the gold medal game. So I wonder if goalie Bob hangs on in this defensive style and starts to work with Swayman and whoever his backup may be next year.
Yeah, I mean, I would expect that he'll be. Goalie Bob will be there. I mean, he's not going anywhere that I can see.
Right.
And I think the other guy is Chris Kelly.
Oh yeah, the former player with the Bruins. Yeah.
And I think he might have played with Sturm.
I want to say he was during that year, during those years with Marco Sturm back in 2010, 2011, in those days. Yeah, I think you're right.
So. I'm sure there's some sort of consistency there in terms of him. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see what happens. They have some work to do in terms of a roster.
Yeah.
Before they run out on this window, the next window, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Pasternak and will Lindholm come back? He played. I guess he went over to the World Championships and played phenomenal.
Yeah, he was. I think the second leading scorer, wasn't he, behind Pasta?
Yeah. Yep. And then you got and hopefully you got McAvoy's back 100%. And,
right.
I still believe in some of the younger talent. I think they had to bring up Lorelei early, but can he grow into it a little bit more now after a first full season? And
yeah,
the good news about him is you can't get any worse.
I was gonna say he's due for a giant step next year.
Yeah, he was a negative 45.
Yeah.
So you can't. You shouldn't get any worse than that.
Yeah, I didn't know numbers went that low.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens. They got the coach. Is it the coach? I don't think. Yeah. Now, again, it still kind of caught me off guard with the DeBauer firing.
Yeah.
Now, certainly, I guess I can understand it, but you make it to three straight Western Conference appearances, one Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
Out of those 3, and you're getting fired. I guess he got a lot of complaints after he pulled the goalie.
Yeah, Ottinger.
Goals on 2 shots, but
I read an article on him. The players were against him starting back in February. I guess he started throwing players under the bus. It's much like Cassidy used to do that in Boston before he got run out of town. He started throwing the players under the bus. He pulled Ottinger in Game 5 against Edmonton, 2 shots, 2 goals, and they pulled him. And then I think the backup goalie gave up a goal on the first shot he saw. I'm like, uh-oh. That's just not going to be a good look. And apparently the players rebelled basically against them and went to management. Management listened, and in the article I read, apparently the players did this back in '02 when they got Ken Hitchcock fired as well. So apparently it's a thing in Dallas where the players can get the coach fired.
Yeah, amazing enough, right? You can't, you try to hold players accountable, and all they have to do is get numbers and go to the front office, and
right.
you've lost your job. Whether it's right, wrong, or in general, I'm sure he had his reasons for calling players out.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily see that game where he pulled the goalie, but 2 shots, 2 goals. Maybe we need to change it up. But I think the issue there was the backup goalie hadn't played in so long,
right?
That he was so shocked that he had to go into the game. And it's like, all right, now I got to go play, and I haven't played in weeks. And we're in the Western Conference Final.
Yeah, only
game 5.
I was gonna say only a decisive game. So hey, let's take one more break. When we come back, Pat, I want to talk about the Stanley Cup Finals. And because if people aren't watching, start tuning in. It's only 2 games in, and wow, and they've already played the equivalent of 3 games. So when we come back, we'll have our final segment here in the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin on 1240 AM, 99.5 FM, OneSoccerRadio.com. We'll be back.
The latest Buick and GMC models are available at Tasker Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Buick Encore, Envision, Enclave, and Invista are on the lot waiting for you to take one for a test drive. New GMC crossovers, SUVs, as well as trucks and vans are also available. Thinking of a pre-owned vehicle? Tasker Buick GMC has more than 900 in stock, many under $15,000. Visit online, TaskerBuickGMC.com, or stop into 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Tasker Buick GMC, you will be satisfied. And remember, there are no tariffs on the vehicles in stock at Tasker Buick GMC.
The world-class distributor of all things electrical is Electrical Wholesalers. They are a full-service electrical distributor with branches throughout Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. Locally, they're at 113 Clinton Street next to KFC here in Woonsocket, with other locations in Cranston and Franklin, Massachusetts. Electrical Wholesalers provides the highest quality service to electrical contractors as well as residential, commercial, and industrial customers. Electrical Wholesalers is open Monday through Friday, 7 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. Visit ew-ne.com. Electrical Wholesalers. If you're celebrating a major event, regardless of the reason, Michael's Meats of Cumberland can elevate your next meal from ordinary to extraordinary with meats so good your guests will ask you where you got them. Tell them Michael's Meats. Michael's Meats is in the Walgreens parking lot on Mendon Road in Cumberland, just north of the Ciabro Plaza. They're open Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m., making your next meal truly special. Here's this week's specials at Michael's Meats.
OWN Radio.
And this week's special at Michael's Meats, they got Chairman's Reserve trimmed pork tenderloin for just $3.99 a pound at Michael's Meats. All right, Pat, you're still with us for the last segment. You able to hold on for 15 more minutes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm here.
All right, so game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals goes to Edmonton in overtime, and I'd like to thank Edmonton for scoring with 31 seconds left in the first overtime in game 1 to not force a second overtime on a work night. And last night, double overtime goes Florida's way when at 12:25 this morning, and I think there was about 6 or 7 minutes left in the second overtime. I guess now old friend Brad Marchand, and I think that was his second goal of the game. Okay, it was. It gets the game winner, ties it all up at 1 game apiece. Game 3, I believe, is going to be Monday night as they travel from Edmonton to Florida. It's not a short flight at all. Your thoughts on games 1 and 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals, Pat?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about this last show, right? What our thoughts were. I think I had UF Florida in 7. I had Edmonton. No, you had Edmonton in 7. I had Florida in 7.
Yeah, I got Edmonton at 7, and that's who I'm rooting for. I'm not rooting against Florida per se because of Marchand, even though I don't like Florida, but I am rooting for Edmonton. And if the Cup's going to return back to Canada, I want it as far away from Montreal as possible. So, you know.
And I think the biggest thing that I saw, like Wednesday night, I was surprised to see that Edmonton came out as physical as they did.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was going to be the difference. Would be they just wouldn't be able to play physical enough with Florida. And maybe maybe that won't hold true throughout the whole series, but it has up to this point. It's been both games have been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Obviously you got two of the best players in the world playing for Edmonton.
Yeah, Connor McDavid, and I'm assuming you talk about Leon Draisaitl, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
These guys they're when they're on the ice, don't skip a beat. They're dynamic. They're both dynamic players. McDavid is. He had an assist last night. That was just, it was so filthy. Like, they're still showing the highlights over and over and over again. And he makes these plays. Like,
and he had the assist on the game-winning goal in Game 1 as well. Also a beautiful pass.
Oh yeah, a little softer.
Yes. Right
on the stick. But you have where they lapsed is on the back end is in the goaltending department, as well as Skinner is playing, he does have huge moments of lapses.
Right.
But not like Florida's not earning these goals. They certainly are. They've had a lot of very nice, high quality scoring chances that they've scored on.
Right.
He stood on his head in the second period. Skinner did in Game 1. It's funny. I did miss the second period last night.
There was so much on last night too.
Yeah, Edmonton was up, and then they were down going into the third.
It was 3-2 Edmonton, and I blinked and it was 4-3 Florida. I missed both goals. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. and then obviously they pulled the goal. They pulled the goalie. They got 6-on-5, and Corey Perry scores with like 17 seconds left to tie it.
I'm going to pull. I did not know that Corey Perry was on Edmonton, and he's. I'm like, oh my god! And when I heard it, I'm like, Corey Perry. I'm like, how old is he? And then like 40-year-old Corey Perry. I'm like, wow! I mean, what a career he's had. Did you know he was on Edmonton?
Yeah.
I just missed it.
He was on them last year too.
I missed it.
Yeah, he's obviously there for a reason. He mucks it up.
Yeah.
He's a physical player. But he can still score.
With 17 seconds.
Yeah. So, and then Brad Marchand scores in the overtime. A great little pass from Lundell, and he goes in on a breakaway, which they had two other breakaway opportunities in the overtime.
Yes.
That Skinner saved. I think it's gonna be this series the whole way. Nobody's gonna blow anybody out.
Right. I think it's going to be high score. It's going to be high scoring, Pat. I mean, it already has been, and I think it's going to continue to be high scoring. You look at six goals a game easily between the two teams.
It had 3-2 at the end of the first period last night.
Exactly. So I mean, in this Edmonton team, and I think I may have said it last year. I was saying it again this year. It's almost like they're almost like the Gretzky Oilers in the sense that Grant Fuhr wasn't your best goalie in the world, and if you look at his numbers, they support that. He had a goals against average well north of 3. His save percentage was like under 90%, but he did enough with that loaded Oiler team back in the day of Gretzky, Coffey, Messier, and all those guys. I think Skinner's in a similar situation where he's on a loaded, offensively minded Edmonton team, and I think Edmonton. I mean, you still got Ryan Nugent Hopkins kicking around, who's been a good player for a long time with Edmonton. It's a high-powered offense you have there in Edmonton, and I think Skinner is doing enough in net that I think he can carry Edmonton to the Stanley Cup. this year because of the high-powered offense. Now, if you're looking to win a 1-0 game, Skinner's not your guy. But to go win 5-4, 4-3, things like that, I think he is your guy.
Yeah, he certainly, he's not going to kill them back there. I don't think he's going to give up, 4 goals on 5 shots. Although he did give up 2 on 7 the other.
Yeah.
But again, these are some of these goals. I'm like, yeah, there's nothing he could have done.
Right.
About that. Guys wide open on the back door, and they're just getting hit stick to stick. I mean, it's high quality hockey. It's all you could ask for at this time of year, and we'll see what happens as they transition down to Florida. Florida plays really well at home too, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be a different. See if the humidity affects the ice down in Florida. I don't recall it being a story last year, but you never know. I mean, going from Edmonton to down to Florida, it's wow. I think last year I remember saying it's the longest flight between two cities in any professional sports history. I think. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I think it's the furthest 2 points. You can't get any further up than Edmonton, and you can't get any further south than wherever they play, Sunrise, Florida, or I don't know, wherever they play.
Yeah. So, all right. So, do you see what's going on? And this is completely off topic. It wasn't even in our notes, Pat. So I might be blindsiding you, but we're near the end of the show. Do you know what's going on at Fenway Park today, for the first time in 70 years, almost 70 years?
At Fenway Park? No.
At Fenway Park. It's fight night at Fenway Park. They got 11 boxing matches going on, and it's tonight. I didn't even know about it. It's the first.
I saw them. They did advertise it on, and I was thinking about, how do they do, where are they even putting that? And they must be putting it in the infield.
Yeah, I'm thinking around the pitcher's mound, maybe out by second base, and then you. Though there's a picture of it on the concourse. It can't be on the concourse unless. Maybe, I don't know how many people they're expecting.
I don't know. Is Timmy working?
I don't know. No, it's graduation party season, so so he's not there. But you can still buy tickets. I don't know how much they are. But today gates open at 4. The first fight's at 5. Yeah, I think we played this game of. I'm now at the point, Pat. I can't even name an active boxer anymore. It's
tough.
It is.
No.
It stinks because I used to love boxing.
Yeah, it's just not. I kind of equate it to there's so much else happening now that wasn't around back then.
Right.
UFC and all that stuff is becoming more prominent. So
yep.
Someone who would have been into boxing is now going into the UFC or vice versa. There are a few. I know there's a kid, Kevin. I want to say his name's Kevin. I forget his last name, but
yeah.
he's a local kid champ, whatever level. I don't know what championship it is. There's so many belts in boxing that you can't follow that either. But yeah, it's few and far between.
Right. So
in terms of the guy, you used to be able to, there used to be fights on all the time, and half the guys in the fight were all well known, and
right.
now it's you might have one guy that you know, and then everyone else is I don't know.
Yeah, and yeah. So I mean, so good. I guess it's been since 1956 is the last time that they had boxing at Fenway. I just was on the website and it just said buy 2 tickets. It didn't even tell you where you're sitting. So I don't even know how this is set up. I can't imagine they're expecting a huge crowd. I don't think you're looking at 30,000. That's for sure. So funny. Maybe they are set up in the concourse or something. Who knows? If you're only getting 1,000 people, yeah, I don't know how they're going to set that up. But interesting that's back as well. And something we didn't get a chance to talk about. It just kind of broke last night as well. The House versus the NCAA. Athletes starting July 1st can get paid by their colleges, and I think there's almost like a salary cap of $20 million the first year. It's going to formally take effect on July 1st of this year, so within a month. It's when and players will get paid They can opt into colleges can opt into revenue sharing with athletes. Athletic departments will be allowed to use their own funds to pay players. A cap expected to hover around $20 million annually. That figure is intended to cover all athlete compensation across varsity sports, not just those that generate revenue. So if you got a guy on Harvard crew, I guess or maybe not Harvard because they're Ivy League, but URI crew that makes a lot of money, you can pay him. It doesn't have to be from the basketball or the football programs. So did you know about that settlement, or is this the first you're hearing of it?
I did. I heard about it last night, and I know that it was between 6 p.m. last night, I guess Western time, and 11. There's been a new committee that's been named that will run that whole part. So the NCAA will no longer have any say in any of that. They're really just there for if somebody was academically ineligible or that type of stuff.
Right.
This whole fund, there's a new commissioner was named who, I don't know his name, but I think he's coming over from Major League Baseball. He's the commissioner of it. He'll run it, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. But a lot of people don't know what this means until that organization gets established and starts to come on and really says well, this is what it means.
Right,
but it is about $20 million in salary cap. That's just internally. But then there's the whole NIL stuff outside.
Right.
Is that going to be capped?
And how does this, and we don't have time for this, but the question just jumps in. How does this affect Bryant University, in their programs as opposed to anybody in the SEC? It's who just does Bryant have the same money that those schools have? And let's face it, the SEC just keeps getting bigger and bigger anyway.
Yeah, so the SEC would be capped. So again, it's capped at $20.5 million.
Yeah.
I mean that Bryant is going to. I don't even know if Bryant has that much.
Well, that's the other piece. Yeah, because it's paid by the athletic department, and who knows if Bryant has 20? Maybe they do, and they got a lot of donors, and I'm sure they got all their money built up, and scholarships and things like that. I forget that word. It's escaping me when they have all that money built up. But so maybe it ends up helping a small market team. I don't know, but we can get into that. More next week. We are just about out of time here, Pat. Pat, thanks for joining us. I know you're on the shelf, but I appreciate. Hopefully you're good and comfortable at home right now. So let's get you back in studio next week. So,
all right, my man.
All right. Well, thank you, Pat Holland, making every effort to get on the show today. I'd like to wish my son a happy 26th birthday. Happy birthday, Matt Callahan. And I hope you all have a great, tremendous weekend. Thank you for joining us in the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin here on WOON 1240 AM, 99.5 FM, and OneSocketRadio.com.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant